Good afternoon. Thank you for joining our RFMS webinar this afternoon. We'll just give it one more minute and see if we have some latecomers arrive. But as they're arriving, just a little summary on the screen here of what we're going to cover. So nothing earth-shaking, but these are very powerful tools if you're not already using them to help you manage your sales if you're a salesperson, or manage your sales team if you're a sales manager. So let's get underway. So I'm just going to switch my screen. So we can see RFMS. Okay, so we've got Nikki is our moderator today, so if something goes wrong, she'll be able to tell me, and she'll also be able to monitor the questions. If questions are sent through, we'll be able to monitor the questions. So the first thing we want to talk about is how RFMS actually contains tools that help us manage our sales. So we're going to jump into our quote module here, and we're just going to go out to clear the screen, and we'll go back in. So there's our quote screen. So the first thing we might want to do as a salesperson is actually see our quotes. What quotes have we got on the go at the moment? And the filter tool is very powerful for that reason. So if we click on our filter tool, like binoculars, we can select the salesperson that we want to have a look at. So I'm the salesperson, I want to see what I've been doing. I want to see only those quotes that haven't been exported, and maybe I want to go back a couple, 3 months to see what I have that we can perhaps work on. And having done that, I can go OK, and it brings up all of my outstanding quotes. One of the relatively new features is the ability to save filters. So if I go back in there, if this is a filter that I know I'll use often, I can save it. So I can name it. I can call it my outstanding quotes. Hit save. And then if I right click on my binoculars, I've got all of my filters saved there. The other thing that we recommend is that you use the note features. So notes are really helpful for those situations where like me, you might have a very poor memory. Let's go back in there. So I can record something that's gone on with the job, and then not only I have it for my memory, but if I'm ill or if I'm on holiday, somebody else can come in, click on the notes, they can look at the internal notes. So the internal note, just one little thing about internal notes is that they don't print anywhere. They are strictly on screen. So there's no danger that they're going to end up inadvertently printed on an invoice or a statement. So if we look at our internal notes, you can see we've got a little bit of a history there of what we've done, and I can come in here, I can hit my date stamp, and I can put in my new update here and save that. So if we get into the habit of doing this as salespeople, it builds up a really good record of what we've been doing with the customer. So filters and notes in RFMS in themselves are really good sales management tools. If you have CMM, then CMM adds another level of functionality. So let's open up CMM and we'll go to our Workbench. So the Workbench is broken up into these 6 modules. We're going to look at appointments, tasks, and sales leads today. We'll also have a quick look at alerts because I think that's something that's quite interesting. Like a lot of things in RFMS, there's a lot of functionality. We could spend a lot of time in here, so we're just going to concentrate on mainly these 3 areas. Where we have an appointment or a task that is overdue, they appear in red. So they're an alert to us that either perhaps we forgot the appointment or we haven't yet completed the task. We can open these up and we can look at them and say, well, actually, I did go and do that job, so I can complete that and I can get rid of it. Just a note, this updates to Outlook. So if you're used to working from your smartphone, all of your tasks and appointments are automatically updated to Outlook, so you're not tied to your computer screen. So you can see that appointment has gone, and similarly I can do the same with that one to say yes, I did that, and it's now off my Workbench. Similarly with my tasks, if I have a reminder here, this client was supposed to drop in some plans, perhaps he did, and I can make notes accordingly, or I can mark the task as completed. These ones in black are the ones that are either due today or coming up, so they're not overdue yet. But as you build up more data in your Workbench, you've also got the ability to filter these screens so you only see what you want to see. So we might say, I only want to see today and tomorrow, or I might want to see the next few days, or I can customize it so I can see a date range of information, and I can do that in each one of these sections. So let's go back to everything. So tasks are very powerful, and we'll look at those in a moment as we look at sales leads. So sales leads, really, as a salesperson, that's probably the most important thing that we want to be focused on. These are the people that we're working on at the moment. Either they've taken samples, or we've done a measure, or we might have even issued given them a quote. So if we go and have a look at these, we open this one up for Boris Johnson, we can see that we have issued him a quote. From here, I can add another remark, or I can make an appointment, or I can add a task, a reminder. But I can also open up the customer record, and in here I can see all the remarks that I have done for that customer, have made. Similarly with my tasks and my appointments. So now I don't need to do that unless I want to see the history. At the moment, maybe I just want to make a new appointment. So I can click on the appointment. I can come in here and I can put in the nature of the appointment. So we'll call it a measure. You can see it's brought through all the customer's details, including the address. I'll just close that. And in here, I can put in perhaps a reminder of what it is that I'm going to be measuring. All right. The other thing I can do is I can actually assign this to somebody else. So it's defaulted to me as the person who's created it, but if we've got a dedicated measurer, I can hit the F8 button and I can assign it to the dedicated measurer so it appears in their tasks. Down here, I'll create a date or determine the date. I'm going to say I'm going to be there at 10:30, and I want a reminder, maybe first thing in the morning, of all of my appointments. Okay, now it's reminding me that I've got a conflict, so I can, in this case, just go okay, and again, this is added to Outlook. So I can look on Outlook, but equally I can look at our calendar. So if I go up here, I can look at our calendar. You can see our 2 appointments for tomorrow at 10:30. We can have various types of appointment, and we can check them or uncheck them so that they don't appear on the screen. So we've got a calendar function in CMM as well. So in this case, we have issued Boris Johnson a quote. If he says, let's go ahead, then when I click on this icon to export it into order entry, we get the same sort of effect as if we were doing this in order entry. So we're going to say new. We're going to determine which lines it is that we're going to send through. And it's going to open now in order entry. And I can do what I would normally do as a salesperson in terms of ordering product, etc. When I save that, one thing you'll notice is that I have now got both a quote and an order in my record in the sales lead, but actually Boris Johnson has dropped off my sales lead because we've made a sale. If we, let's find somebody else we've given a quote to, Barry Galbraith. So Barry, we've given him a, oh no, let's find another one. There's got to be one here that I've got a quote for. Okay, so we've given James Dean a quote. Perhaps he has said, look, I can't afford it, or I've gone somewhere else. What we can do here is we can mark this as lost, and we can put a reason in here. So it, maybe he got a cheaper price from the other mob. So we can record that as a reason. Now, you'll see he's dropped off the list of sales leads, but actually we can still, as a sales management exercise, we can go to leads. We can, in my case, for Chris Ogden, I can include lost, and then I can see all of the lost sales that I have. And by double clicking on them, if I've been diligent and put in a reason for the loss, then again, as a sales manager, or even as a salesperson, I can learn perhaps about what we need to be doing differently to, if we notice that we're losing an inordinate amount of projects. Also, we can click on completed to see those that are completed. While we're here, I'd just like to bring your attention to alerts. Now, it's not strictly in line with our subject today, but alerts is a very powerful little function in RFMS, and it's recently been improved in the latest version. So as a salesperson working in my Workbench, it would be nice to know when carpet that I have ordered has been received at the warehouse. I don't want to have to rely on being told by the warehouse guy. And within RFMS, we can have settings that creates such an alert. So in this case here, I've got an online status alert in relation to Peter Ogden. When I open that up, I can see the details of the job. If I click on the magnifying glass, I can see that that product has been changed to reserved. So now, potentially within minutes of the product being received in, I can contact my customer and go ahead and get this job booked in for installation. So That's a really nice feature that I think adds value to the sales process. Similarly, if we've got somebody maybe at reception opening the mail in the morning or looking at the banking, somebody can create an alert for a salesperson to alert them to something, in this case, the deposit's being paid. And again, as a salesperson, I can go to my magnifying glass and see the details of the job. Once I have looked at that, I can mark that as completed and it disappears off my list of alerts. So we've looked, within CMM, we've looked at sales leads, we've had a look at appointments, tasks, and we've seen also that we can have a look at all of those things for our salespeople by going to these icons up here. So for example, I can go to my tasks and as perhaps a manager, I can look for a particular salesperson to see who has got lots of outstanding tasks and then perhaps drill down and find out why. Similarly with our leads, as a sales management tool, we can talk with our salespeople about their outstanding leads. The other functionality that we have with CMM is if we go back into order entry, CMM is available via this icon here. So for example, if I talk to this customer, I wanted to add my remarks into CMM, I can click on my CMM actions button and it allows me to create a new remark, or maybe I've talked to the customer and we want to make an appointment. So from here, I can make an appointment related to this quote. Perhaps there's a consultation we have to have, and perhaps we're going to visit the client at home. So we're putting information in here that kind of helps us when we look at it on our smartphone or on the calendar. And perhaps we're going to do that on Saturday, perhaps we're going to do that Monday morning. Let's choose some day other than Sunday. Again, we can create a time and we can create a reminder for ourselves as well. So personally, I like to have be reminded in the morning of everything I've got coming up for the day, so I can plan for the day, and that's now added to Outlook. So the point is, from order entry or from quotes, we have access to CMM so that we can access those functions. The whole purpose of which is to make our interaction with our customers better and more regular and more meaningful, so that hopefully we close more sales. Allied with this, in the latest version of RFMS, we have a whole new notifications module, which we're not going to look at today, but that gives us the ability to send text messages to our clients. So that's quite a nice new development that's coming down the pipe. So short and sweet today, just a quick look at a few tools that we can maybe use to help us be more effective salespeople. If there's any questions, you can type those in. Of course, you can always watch the recording at a later time, or we want to share it with somebody else. That recording is going to be available on the website makethemostof.rfms.com. If you have any questions that you would like to talk to us about, by all means give us a call on the free phone numbers or send us an email at help.au@rfms.com. So like I say, I chose an easy subject today. Not very difficult at all, but nonetheless very useful, we hope. Thank you very much for your attendance, and we look forward to your attendance at other webinars.